Hello. So an idea just popped in my head for a quick little video, so I thought I'd do a quick recording here. Yeah, so in the weeks we've had, it's going to be a 3 week break of no One Piece chapters, which, is a rough time for us One Piece fans. The drought is strong. But alas, it gives you more time to think and speculate and plan and try to figure out what's next, what's in store. And it just got me in watching people's videos and like forming your own theories, and it just builds up ideas in your head, and it got me to the point where I was just saying I am so damn excited for Elbaf, not because of what I'm expecting to happen, but because I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea where the story goes from here. Sure, after Wano was wrapping up, I had predictions of where I thought the rest of the narrative would go, but they were much more broad and like arc to arc, and no one expected Egghead. So you know, so my ideas were all very broad and abstract and like bigger. But going into Elbaf, I really have no idea what's going to happen here. Yeah, there's some ideas and loose speculations, but all of them are very, very loose, And that's incredibly exciting just to be able to read week by week. I'm sure more ideas and speculation will, and more like of a straight path of, okay, this is what we're going to happen this arc, will begin to form as, the arc progresses. But even with Egghead, we had no idea what was coming moment to moment up until the very end. No, as it progressed, no one expected not just one Gorosei, but all of them to show up. That was insane. And Kuma's backstory and everything, insane. It just shows that Oda's been working on this story for what, almost 30 years, and it is the best it's ever been. That's insane. I thought I'd just give us some just talk a little bit about it, and what we're expecting, because we really have no idea. And so I guess the first thing I'll point out is Loki. Based on it, we all knew Loki was going to be a part of this arc. I was when he was originally framed back in Whole Cake Island, and they showed the silly little silhouette. I think we all thought that he was going to be a snobbish royalty of Elbaf, and I don't think anyone really expected him to be a disgraced menace of a guy like his design. No one expected that, and I think Oda does this thing where he silhouettes characters when he talks about them very early on in the series. Only to give more clarity to the design later. Like Kaido, the silhouette looked completely different than when he finally introduced him. It just means he hasn't yet he wants to talk about it, but because manga is a visual medium, he had to have something there. So, he just came up with a random design that he was very vague and could be scratched very easily. So yeah, that's we always knew that was one of those silhouette designs, but just to actually see Loki, God. And it poses this interesting question, is Loki going to be the villain of the arc, or is Loki going to be the hero? Or not a hero, a misunderstood, tragic character. And I am, right now, obviously the next chapter that comes out on Friday could completely change this and redirect this, but right now I'm leaning toward the latter. I think that, based on everything this arc has been setting up, it seems that Loki's father, the current king, is the problem. Because, and Melanie mentioned this a little bit as well, so I'll give her credit where credit is due. I can never pronounce Harjudin, I don't know. I'm going to say Haryuden. I think that is closest. Captain of the New Giant Pirates, member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, if you can't make out who I'm trying to pronounce. So yeah, the fact that he was, I think, next in line, yet he left the country and started a pirate crew and eventually joined, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. The fact that he left, and also the fact that Loki seems to have tried to kill his father and is being imprisoned on this tree, chained up completely, and it took so much strength to get him there. To me, all signs here are pointing to, both kids. We know Haryuden is not a villain in any sense. He is a good guy. I mean, he pledged to the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Like, no one's gonna pledge to the Straw Hat Grand Fleet if they're not good deep down. They don't like someone at least align with Luffy's ideals. So, like, like right there, that like there's something here. I think there's something here, and I could be completely wrong, and that's the magic of Elbaf. Is that like if Loki's a villain, I trust full force that Oda will do it incredibly well. I could see him being like a Doflamingo-esque figure, where it's like he's been disgraced from royalty and wants brutal evil vengeance too. Like, and that could totally be the case as well. But I'm leaning more toward the tragic, framed, misrepresented figure, personally. But next chapter could completely change that, and that's what's so exciting. That's kind of the point I'm getting at here. We really have no idea what's to come. Everyone was expecting Elbaf to be the final the reunion of Luffy and Shanks, and that whole like thread that's been building since the very chapter 1 of the story to come to a head at Elbaf. It kind of became this expectation because Elbaf is Shanks' territory, protected territory, and we last saw a huge display of power from Shanks at Elbaf, and that was the last location he was seen at, if I remember correctly. I could definitely be wrong, but yeah. So everyone was excited. This, honestly, like the way things are shaping up now, like I don't know if that's the case anymore. We might be waiting till Laugh Tale for that reunion, or before Laugh Tale, or something like that. We really have no idea. I don't think it's such a given as people were saying anymore. Just the way the arc started. Like there's just certain things we didn't even think about. Like I really have no idea what the narrative of Elbaf is going to be. And that's incredibly exciting. I think, there's even a chance, like I've been holding out that I think probably Big Mom and Kaido are severely diminished in power, but still alive in some capacity. I don't think they're dead. I could be wrong. Again. I think the Yamato cover story is probably leading up to... My theories right now is it's either King and Queen trying to start some sort of like little, anti Momonosuke shogunate kind of little thing. That could be where it's going. But I also think it might be Yamato discovering that Big Mom and Kaido are alive as well. And I think if Big Mom is alive, she might weasel her way over to Elbaf and could be like a big part of this story just because of her, base childhood connection to Elbaf, maybe trying to find Mother Caramel if she's like so, severely diminished that she is back to her like base child instincts and is just trying to find Mother Caramel, and she crawls her way back to Elbaf. I could totally see that happening, but also she could be out of the story for good. We really don't know. Is Kid going to come back? Or they discover like a severe I would imagine Kid comes back this arc, just because I imagine he'll have since he was killed so close to Elbaf shoreline, I would imagine that he probably washed up at Elbaf and is somewhere for the Straw Hats to find. It's just so exciting. We just have no way of knowing what's next, and that's just what makes One Piece so magical. Like every week, and like I said, the arc might shape out a little bit more over the next few weeks, so we might get a better sense of where things are going. But just the way it's going so far, it's just we never know what's around the corner, and it's so damn exciting. The other whole thing is Vivi's situation. I think it's pretty, and this could totally be wrong too, but I think it's pretty much fan consensus that what the X was on the arm, on Luffy's arm in the newspaper, was Vivi giving a sign that she needs help and rescue from the Straw Hats because she's being essentially held hostage by Big News Morgans, so I think, I personally think that won't happen during the span of Elbaf. I think that because the people that saw that news are the people that didn't know Vivi. I mean, Robin to some extent, but, people that didn't have that close connection with Vivi and understand what the symbol is, meaning and referencing. So I think I think that's probably going to be the first point of note following Elbaf. I think, once that's somehow related to the Straw Hats that are already on Elbaf, and I think that's when they'll address it. But, and another whole thing here is that I think, we might have for a while 2 separate Elbaf arcs going on at the same time. I think if the newer set of Straw Hats that were left behind back on the giant ship, I think if they, go to Elbaf, find Saul, deal with all the poneglyph stuff. I think while like Luffy and Co are dealing with sort of the, Loki royalty, like, overthrow a government kind of potential arc that there might be. I think we could have two separate, like, obviously that will come together at the end, but like two separate Elbaf arcs. Oda has to fit a lot left in a short amount of time in the story, so we, really don't know. We really don't know. I guess that wraps it up. I think it's just so damn exciting that we're reading week to week and we really have no idea where the story's going. I mean, obviously this is going to have to smoothly transition to probably, they could throw something else that we're not expecting in the slightest, especially with how, how Egghead wasn't expected in the slightest. They could throw something in that way. But for me, I'm personally like, this has to seamlessly transition into, from what I imagine, Laugh Tale already after this. So, like, we'll see how that transition happens, like, what revelations we'll get from the lore. With all this sun god stuff, I think it's almost Oda immediately subverting his own, like, his own setup from Wano, like everyone kind of complained about that setup in Wano. I think Oda's immediately like, you didn't have patience. This is what I was building to with this, and it's going to be sort of a satire of those chosen one god type stories. I think that's really where it's going with all these figures calling themselves the sun god already in this arc. Like what we just recently learned that Luffy was that essentially. All to say, the horizon looks very bright for One Piece, and I'm so happy to be a fan reading as it's the greatest stories ever told is coming out. So, that's about it for this video. Thanks guys for watching.